Hi, Victor Sostek. I went down to the hearing on the 5th because I wanted to see what was going on. And I have a few questions about it, and I'm hoping I can ask the attorney and he'll answer me. I don't quite understand. I understand he didn't get an Oprah request that he wanted, and he put it through the GRC, and he filed a complaint, he won, and then they appealed, and he won again, and he got the documents. Why go to the next level and file a lawsuit and administrative? What does that get anybody? What's the purpose?
Well, my short response is that's a question better directed to Mr. Burdick than it would me. It wasn't going to gain him anything personally. The $1,000 fine would go to the Government Records Council. So I can't answer the question as to why someone would do that.
So there's no other reason than to get somebody a fine? I mean,
look, I don't have the most glamorous job in the world, but some people like going to court.
I can tell you, Gloria Gross didn't. She looked like a wreck there. Felt very bad for her. I just have a couple questions on the numbers that you quoted, because I had Oprah the legal bills from, I think it was October 2007 through December. I was the last. December 2008 was the last available, and I see that there were bills separate on this issue, so they were verdict versus, and there were totals on that. And then within the regular bill, there's a whole bunch of, not a whole bunch, but there's quite a bit of verdict this, verdict that. And I came out with about $25,000 in that 15-month period, which is like $1,700 a month there. So your 21 number seems kind of low, given that that didn't include January, February, and obviously the hearing, because there were 5 lawyers, and my understanding from both Gloria Gross and Karen Lewis is that their lawyers are going to be billing that money back to the school. Is that included in there?
No. Mr. Burdick has filed various Oprah requests, and there have been occasions over that same period of time when we've been called on to advise the board. The number you heard was just measuring from its inception through February the legal fees from our firm associated with this case, not associated with the various requests made by Mr. Burdick. So it may well be that if I were to perform the exercise you were to perform, I'd get a higher number.
Right, okay. So, but if Gloria and Karen's legal fees are submitted, is that something the school or the taxpayers are going to be liable for, as well as this 21 plus thousand, 30,000, whatever your number was?
I'm not aware of any discussion involving Mrs. Lewis and her attorney, so I can't answer that. But as far as Gloria Gross is concerned, yes, it's my expectation that there will be a bill submitted to the district, and we've not discussed whether or not we're going to pay the bill. She has certain rights, but it's not a blank check necessarily.
Right.
But I do think it's possible that there will be legal expenses from the board beyond those simply from our firm.
Okay. So we're...
I don't want to say yes, the board will pay it, because if the guy submits a bill for $800,000,
right,
you know, so I don't know what it's going to be. But it is my expectation that there will be a bill from Ms. Gross's attorney.
Right. And given all the stuff I saw on the bills, it's probably going to be quite a bit of money, because there was a lot of interaction with her attorney during the thing. Also, was that just your fees for when he filed this administrative law, or were that all your fees going back to the inception of this? Because that's 3 years running, and there was a lot of legal back and forth on that. Do we have a total on what the whole thing cost us?
The $21,000 number we quoted was from the inception of the litigation. Again, not the various
Right.
Oprah issues, the inception of the litigation through February.
Right. So this whole thing, starting from when he made the Oprah request, we could be talking $70,000, $80,000 when you add all that stuff up.
I think
Gloria's
that,
and
I don't. Well, with Gloria's attorney, 70 or 80 sounds a little high. At the end of the day, if you add the other attorneys in there, the number's probably between 40 and 50, I would guess. But keep in mind, because I don't know that I necessarily differ with what you're saying, there were various Oprah requests raised. There was only one of them that actually was litigated all the way through. There were various Oprah issues, and so again, if you were to add those into it, I'm sure the number would be higher than between 40 and 50, but I'm just talking about this particular dispute.
okay. And obviously, what Mrs. Wright said about the staff time, because he had a stack this high sitting on his desk of stuff that he had subpoenaed from the school that somebody had to pull together and talk to attorneys and do that. So huge lost product time for people because they should be focusing on our kids and they're not doing that because of this. And at the hearing, you mentioned this, that Gloria told me that her attorney said in the beginning they tried to settle for the $1,000 and he refused that. So basically we've just wasted money for what? That's what I don't understand. What's our recourse on this? Can we do something to collect that money back?
No.
Nothing?
You don't have the remedy in an administrative proceeding, for example, if you're thinking about, well, is there a frivolous litigation law or something like that? That's in Superior Court proceedings. This was administrative. There is no such recourse.
Okay. So this law that a local attorney sent me today called malicious abuse of process or malicious use of process, 2 different laws, has no bearing on this thing, and we cannot go after him for all the legal fees that he has cost us?
The abuse of process you're talking about is in the context of a civil proceeding. This
Okay.
is technically administrative.
Okay.
So the administrative regulations don't provide that kind of remedy.
So there's nothing that we can do because this guy has a history of coming after us and doing this and costing this town and the taxpayers and our kids a lot of money for naught, basically, in my opinion. We just have to sit back and take it.
It's difficult for me to think that answering the question candidly is in the board's best interest. So I don't think you said have to sit back and take it, but as far as this particular case is concerned, I don't believe you have any recourse.
Okay.
But I also don't believe that we should expect something like this to repeat itself either.
Why?
Yeah. Why not?
I don't, based upon what transpired in court, I don't believe that, your question to me was, why would someone pursue this? My answer is, whatever the answer is to that question, and I can't speak on behalf of Mr. Burdick, I don't know that he would do this again, based upon what transpired in court. I mean, I don't need to say anything further in terms of disparaging the gentleman. I've only met him once or twice, I think.
Right.
But I don't think this would repeat itself again. And if it did, quite frankly, I would not be concerned in terms of the board's exposure. The only thing that has concerned me here from the outset isn't the end result. I didn't think that there was going to be a fine against Mrs. Gross for a knowing and willful violation. Even the QEA recognized that these were materials that they didn't want to see produced. So I've never really been concerned about the result. I've been concerned about the expense and the inconvenience. And I would think that in the future we'd be able to discourage Mr. Burdick from pursuing it to this degree. But I don't think it's in the board's best interest for me to be more candid, so hopefully you forgive me for not answering the question more directly.
Thank you.
Thank you.